This message found you for a reason, not later, not yesterday, right now. At this exact moment, while you're sitting here listening to these words, someone is carrying your name around in the quiet corners of their mind, like a secret they can no longer keep. And the strange part? You've probably been feeling it too. The sudden memories, the emotional waves that arrive for no reason, the urge to check your phone even when you know there's nothing there. That isn't random. Something is changing between you and them, because somewhere tonight, your person is standing in the middle of a moment they never thought would happen. They are finally preparing to stop running from what they feel for you. And no, this is not just another passing thought in their head. This is real. Real enough to touch, real enough to scare them, real enough that they've already started putting something together for you with trembling hands and a heart that hasn't known peace in months. A gift, a message, a confession, something tangible, something that carries weight. And the reason it matters so much is because your person is not someone who acts lightly when emotions are involved. You know that. They hesitate, overthink, pull back, pretend they're fine even when they're absolutely not. But this time, something inside them finally cracked open. It started 4 days ago, not during some dramatic moment, not during a lonely midnight breakdown. It happened somewhere ordinary, a grocery store, a coffee shop, some random place filled with strangers too distracted to notice the emotional earthquake happening quietly inside another human being. Your person wasn't searching for anything meaningful. They were simply moving through another forgettable day, until they saw something that reminded them of you. And suddenly, everything stopped. You know that feeling when a song from years ago starts playing unexpectedly and your entire body reacts before your brain understands why. That's what happened to them. Their chest tightened. Their breathing changed, because the object sitting in front of them wasn't just an object anymore. It carried your energy, your memory, your presence. For a second, they tried to ignore it. They actually walked away. But 10 steps later, they stopped, turned around slowly, and went back for it. That decision seemed small from the outside, but emotionally, it changed everything. Because in that moment, they admitted something to themselves they had been avoiding for a very long time. They still love you. Not partially, not casually, completely. The cashier eventually smiled and asked, "Would you like this wrapped?" And your person hesitated before answering. Not because they didn't know, because saying yes made the whole thing real. But after a pause, they whispered, "Yeah, it's for someone important. Someone important. Do you understand what that means?" After all the distance, all the silence, all the pretending, you are still the person their heart calls important. That gift was wrapped carefully, but honestly, the wrapping isn't the emotional part. The emotional part is what happened after. Because when they got home, they didn't hide it. They placed it somewhere visible, right beside their bed, where they would see it first thing in the morning and last thing before sleep. That's not what people do with temporary emotions. That's what people do when they're trying to gather courage. For 2 nights, they barely touched it, but they kept looking at it, thinking, rehearsing conversations in their mind, imagining your reaction, wondering whether they had waited too long. That question haunted them more than anything else. What if they've already moved on? That fear kept circling through their thoughts because, deep down, your person knows silence changes people. They know time creates distance, and part of them became terrified that by the time they finally reached for you, you might no longer be waiting emotionally. But here's what matters. The fear did not stop them. For the first time in months, love became louder than pride, and then yesterday happened. Yesterday was the moment the walls truly began collapsing. Your person was scrolling through their phone absent-mindedly when an old memory surfaced automatically. A photo involving you. Nothing dramatic. Just one of those tiny moments that would mean nothing to anyone else, but everything to the 2 people inside it. They stared at that photo far longer than they intended to. Not because of how it looked, because of how it felt. And suddenly all the emotions they had been suppressing came rushing back at once. The comfort, the safety, the happiness, the familiarity. Most importantly, the loss. Because that's when they realized something painful. They hadn't actually stopped loving you. They had simply been trying to survive without you. There's a difference. And once they understood that difference, there was no going back anymore. Then they did something incredibly telling. They saved the photo. Not casually, intentionally, moved it into a private folder where they could return to it later. People don't preserve memories like that when they're emotionally done. They preserve them when their heart is trying to find its way back home. Last night they stood in front of the bathroom mirror and had one of those brutally honest moments we all experience eventually. The kind where exhaustion strips away every excuse. They looked at themselves and silently admitted the truth. I miss them, not the idea of you, not the attention, you, your voice, your energy, your existence. And once they admitted it honestly, everything changed. Because the gift beside the bed no longer felt like a possibility. It felt like a promise. This morning they woke up earlier than usual, not because they were restless, because something inside them had already made a decision before their mind fully caught up. They sat quietly with coffee growing cold in their hands while thoughts moved through them like waves. And eventually one sentence landed clearly in their chest. I can't keep pretending anymore. That sentence became the turning point. Because after months of emotional hiding, your person has finally realized something powerful. Silence protects pride, but destroys connection. And they are tired of losing you silently. So today, they started writing to you. Not a quick message, not a careless text, a real letter. The kind people only write when emotions become too heavy to carry silently anymore. At first, they struggled. Every sentence felt vulnerable. Every word felt irreversible. They wrote something, crossed it out, started again. They tried beginning with an apology, deleted it. Tried beginning with a memory, deleted that too. Because eventually they understood something important. No carefully crafted introduction could hide the truth anymore. So they stopped trying to sound perfect. And finally, they began speaking honestly. The moment that first honest sentence hit the page, everything shifted. The rest of the letter started flowing naturally. Not easily, but truthfully. And that's how you know emotions are real. Real feelings eventually stop performing and start revealing themselves. They wrote about missing you, about thinking of you unexpectedly, about the strange emptiness that followed them no matter how busy life became. They wrote things they never planned on admitting, things they didn't even realize were sitting inside them until the pen pulled those feelings out. That's what honest writing does. It exposes the heart. Right now, that folded letter is sitting beside the wrapped gift, waiting, just waiting. And meanwhile, you've been feeling something too, haven't you? A strange emotional pull. Moments where their energy suddenly feels close. Dreams that seem too vivid. Thoughts that arrive out of nowhere. That's because emotional connections don't disappear cleanly when love is unfinished. People feel each other long before words arrive, especially when one person is finally preparing to break silence. Your heart sensed the shift before your eyes could see proof. That's why this energy feels so intense lately. Your person is no longer fighting the connection. They are moving toward it, toward you. And here's the beautiful part. They are not doing this impulsively. This isn't temporary loneliness. This isn't boredom. This is someone carefully deciding that the risk of vulnerability is finally worth taking. Do you realize how powerful that is? A guarded person choosing honesty, a fearful heart choosing openness, a silent person preparing to speak. That kind of love changes everything. Right now, your person is imagining different ways this could happen. Maybe they'll message you directly. Maybe they'll call unexpectedly. Maybe something arrives at your door without warning. Maybe they'll stand in front of you one day holding that carefully wrapped proof of everything they struggled to say out loud. However it happens, you will feel the sincerity immediately. Because genuine emotion has a weight to it. It lands differently. And when it finally reaches you, there won't be confusion. There won't be mixed signals. There won't be guessing games. You'll know. You'll know because your chest will recognize the truth before your mind even processes the words. That's what real love does. It settles something restless inside you. But listen carefully now. Do not chase this energy. Don't obsess over every notification. Don't spend your nights analyzing every tiny sign. And please, don't interrupt the timing by forcing movement before they're ready. Let them come towards you. Because this journey matters deeply to them. Your person needs to become brave enough on their own. That's part of the transformation happening inside them right now. Your role is simply to remain open, remain grounded, remain authentic. You don't need to become more lovable. You already are the person they cannot stop thinking about. The person attached to random memories in grocery stores. The person connected to sleepless nights and unfinished feelings. The person whose absence still echoes through their life. That has never changed. And deep down, I think part of you already knew this moment would eventually come, because some connections never fully disappear. They wait, quietly, patiently, until one person finally becomes courageous enough to stop pretending. That's what's happening now. Your person is reaching the end of their resistance. The gift is wrapped, the words are written. The truth has already been admitted privately inside their heart. Now only one thing remains: timing. And timing cannot be rushed, not by fear, not by longing, not by overthinking. So breathe. Stay calm. Let life continue unfolding naturally around you. Because somewhere tonight someone is sitting alone, realizing they cannot walk away from you emotionally anymore. Not this time. And very soon, they're going to show you.